I will start. And first, I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Yves Saint-Germain. Mr. Yves Saint-Germain joined Citizenship and Immigration in 2006, and he was initially responsible for the development of the settlement program, performance measurement, and reporting aspects. In 2007, Mr. Saint-Germain was appointed Director, Integration Branch at CIC to co-manage with his colleagues the National Settlement Program. In 2012, the Integration Branch and the Foreign Credentials Referral Office merged, and he is currently Director of Language Policy, Francophone Minority Communities, and Performance Measurement. He is specifically responsible for language training and language learning policy, including setting up program directions and national standards for language instruction for newcomers to Canada, including working towards a pan-Canadian language strategy, developing new in-class, online, and blended approaches for language training, advancing an improved language assessment system via exit tests, portfolio-based assessment, and supporting stronger communities of practice via tutela.ca. He is also working with provinces and territories on language issues across the immigration continuum, from selection to citizenship. As the chair of the Federal Provincial Territorial Language Forum, the Newcomer Language Advisory Body, and as a member of the National Settlement Council and FPT Settlement Working Group. Leading the implementation of CIC contribution to the Roadmap for Linguistic Duality 2008 to 2013, the Strategic Plan to Foster Immigration to Francophone Minority Communities 2006 to 2013 to attract, settle, and retain at least 4% of French-speaking economic immigrants outside of Quebec. So, without further ado, Yves, please.
Thank you so much, Briar. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Briar, for this kind introduction, and thank you all for inviting me to bring some welcome greetings today. So first of all, on behalf of Citizenship and Immigration Canada, I'm really pleased to welcome you to the second annual REAUZE 2015. It's quite exciting. This forum is of particular interest to us because, as you know, Citizenship and Immigration is a proud supporter and funder of language assessment and training services for newcomers to Canada. And you, as educators, teachers, and service providers, you are helping newcomers to better function in all aspects of Canadian society. Your work is paramount to newcomers' achievement of positive results. So what do we know? Language abilities are more likely to earn less, be unemployed, or live in poverty. The lack of skills in either official language can be the greatest hurdle they face in furthering their education or seeking employment. So CIC, as a response, has been funding the delivery of language training since 1992 through the Language Instruction for Newcomers to Canada, LINC, and its French equivalent, le Cours de langue pour les immigrants au Canada, or CLIC. So these programs couple language acquisition with knowledge of Canadian civics and culture, and they demonstrate our commitment to supporting high-quality, diverse, and flexible language training options for newcomers. Over the past few years, as you know, we've been consulting with the language community, the settlement community, about how we should be going about this. So feedback we have received through sector consultations, including the 2013 National Settlement Conference, the biggest ever settlement conference we had, also the 2014 Regional Integration Summit that took place in every province and territory, and also the TESOL language conferences have all indicated a strong interest across the sector and among provincial partners for exploring the use of technology to pursue innovative delivery models, as well as to develop a cohesive, coordinated approach regarding the use of face-to-face, online, and blended approaches for service delivery in Canada and pre-arrival. So this feedback has also indicated a need for increased accessibility to language training. As you know, about 25–30% of all newcomers access language training. Is that sufficient? Is that addressing the needs? Well, we don't know, but access is a key issue. Whether the challenges for newcomers to attend in-person training is grounded in geographical isolation or due to lack of childminding services, a solution to address these barriers can facilitate conditions for success of language access. As you're all aware, we're seeing a shift in diversity and teaching tools. What this means to our programming is that there is increasingly wider range of learning options that can be much more catered to the needs and preferences of individuals. So this is not to say that providing these tools will be easy. Of course it's not. But if we can, by better integrating technology and technological advances, we can enable more learners to participate by giving more flexibility to accommodate their busy schedules, or by focusing on their individual needs. So as you know, CIC currently delivers Link Home Study. Link Home Study, as well as Click en Ligne, its French equivalent. These two programming components deliver federal language programming through distance, online correspondence technologies. Link Home Study was first developed over 15 years ago. And with ever advancing technologies, we realize now that we can do better to provide language instruction in a technology mediated setting. And Link Home Study and Click en Ligne, like, they were a precursor, but we also know that we have many more online and technology advanced offerings popping up every year. New innovations are being introduced and used across the country. These modes of electronic learning are demonstrating positive potential in addressing the needs of the 21st century learner. These modes specifically include promoting online and blended learning, especially for clients in remote areas or smaller centers. It's also helping committing to investments in technology, sharing best practices, resources, and system knowledge. So when I say blended learning, I'm referring to the integration of online activities with traditional face-to-face class activities in a planned, pedagogically valuable manner, where a portion of face-to-face time is replaced by online activities as defined by the Online Learning Consortium. Online and blended offerings ensure the broadest range and largest number of newcomers have access to courses at all times, in any place with internet access. These modes of delivery also allow for the possibility of providing quality language learning supports pre-arrival, reaching newcomers earlier in the immigration process. This early intervention expedites the settlement integration process for newcomers to Canada. So what are we doing right now? So together in partnership with our provincial and territorial colleagues through the FPT Language Forum, we are now exploring a coordinated delivery approach which will incorporate online learning into language training to varying degrees. This coordinated approach could be facilitated in the form of a national learning management system, and this national learning management system would be scalable, customizable, adaptable for all language providers to utilize regardless of their province and territory. So this learning management system you've heard before, it's not a new concept. It could manage the full range of delivery models across the e-learning continuum by hosting courseware across all CLB levels that can be used within a classroom context by instructors, and that can be accessed and navigated independently by learners. So as a coordinated platform, it could host publicly funded online courseware available for use by all newcomers. Then service providers could share their existing online courseware to be hosted on the platform, allowing for broader access nationally, or they could co-fund the development of new specific online course modules and content. So the ability for service providers and teachers to customize the learning management system to individual, local, or regional needs, as well as to English or French, will be essential to the success of the model. So once in place, a learner could potentially access the learning management system before they come to Canada, complete an assessment, begin learning one of our official languages. Upon arrival in Canada, that learner could then be linked to the most applicable service provider with little to no interruption in learning. So I'm sure you may have questions on this, and I would be happy to address them in the time we have this morning as we want to move forward. As we are in the very early stages of this discussion and examination with our partner provinces, territories, and stakeholders, we may have more questions than answers. To that effect, I would like to pose a few questions to you because you are the true experts in language delivery. You experienced it on the ground. So in order to move forward on an inclusive and effective path,
Hello, I think, have we lost Yves, or can people hear Yves? Okay, I'm just going to log in here.
Hi.
Yves, sorry, we're just going to,
Oh, this is Fred, yeah. So maybe if Yves could just try clicking his headset icon twice, he'll just leave the audio and he'll just come right back in.
Okay, Yves, were you able to do that?
So he won't hear us, I think. Okay, no worries. I'm just going to, actually best if he just refreshes his browser. Can you refresh?
Okay, refresh browser. Okay, just one moment while we work on getting the sound back. I'll just follow the public chat here.
And I see he's left the audio. He should be coming back.
Okay, great. Lovely. It's always interesting to hear the welcome message from our funder and hear what's on their minds. There's definitely a lot of things coming up in our sector. So you can hear me. Great.
Oh, yeah.
We're just waiting for Yves to reconnect to the audio.
Yeah, I can see he's in the session.
Okay.
We'll just wait for him to come back on the audio.
Okay, lovely.
Oh, yeah.
So where is everyone joining us from today while we're waiting for Yves?
I think he's back.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, lovely.
No worries. You can continue.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure where we cut off, Briar. Do I need to? Okay. So I'll finish up my my speak perhaps, and then we'll turn to questions.
Okay, sounds great.
So I think we just cut off at the time where I was going to say that I'm sure that all of you have many questions on this matter of online and e-learning and blended delivery. So I would be happy to address these questions in the time that we have as we move forward. And as we are in the very early stages of this discussion and examination, we may have more questions, in fact, than answers. So to that effect, I would like to pose a few questions to you as the true experts in the language delivery on the ground. You are experiencing it every day. So in order to move forward on an inclusive and effective path, we hope you may be able to provide some advice and feedback as we advance our e-learning strategy. So I'll turn to Briar to facilitate now the discussion. So thank you, Briar.
Okay, thank you so much, Yves. Well, there's a lot on the plate for the language settlement sector, and we have about 30 minutes, and we're just going to walk through some questions that Yves had shared with us to move through. So because we have about 4 to 5 minutes per question, we're just going to be experimenting with the public chat over here on the side. Now, what we've done is these are big questions. It's not a problem. To continue the discussion, CIC has set up a forum thread on the tutela.ca Realize forum. And here's the link, and if someone can share the link right in the public chat, you'll be able to click to log into that. And that way you'll be able to go back and sort of think about some of these questions and come back later and sort of carry on the discussion. So the first question is about delivery mode. And perhaps if in the chat you can just let us know and give us a sense of who's in our audience. Are you currently delivering face-to-face, and what level are you teaching? Because this question is about the type of delivery modes that are happening, and if you feel that there's a certain type of delivery mode that is more effective for different levels of language learners. Here, face-to-face, blended, or online. Yves spoke to that in his welcome. Or any program, Tyson. I think we'd like to hear from the broad spectrum. I'm just following the chat now, so it looks like we've got face-to-face, CLB, face-to-face, a lot of face-to-face, some evening classes. Oh, blended. I saw some blended.
Yeah.
Blended EIP. Interesting. Some blended, but then the higher levels were online for blended face-to-face. We've got some flipped blended and online, a mix of all. Okay, so then right now, would you say that there's a specific mode that is better dependent on the CLB level? Face-to-face for low-level literacy?
Yeah.
Adult learners do well with the online option, right?
Yeah, it kind of reflects the nature of CLB. The higher you are in the CLB scale, it's easier to be independent learner and benefit from online or blended approaches.
Yeah. So I think Ryan had something about lower levels and online. Can you speak a little bit to that? What type of online? Are they online working from home? What kind of supports do they receive? Guided by the teacher in the classroom first, Ryan? And then do they go home?
Okay.
Right. Okay. Right. Sometimes it's not even about the learning, Stephen says, but it's the technology might be problematic or a barrier. And what is everyone's sense right now, actually, just as a prompt from that? Do all of your learners have access to a computer or the internet when they're not at school? Okay. Phones, mobile, access at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and actually that leads us to the next question, which is about types of technology. In your experience, are there certain types of technology which are more effective for different levels of language learners? And if you're considering sort of hardware or software, I mean, people are mentioning mobile, but what have you seen in your experience in terms of the types of technology that you're using? Laptops and iPads, yeah.
Yeah.
Are people bringing their own devices to school and using them in the classroom? Yeah. Yeah, Paul was saying about the platforms constantly improving. We're noticing the same thing. It's incredible how many different devices need to connect to different systems now, but it is becoming more integrated. Phones mostly okay, mobile friendly. And what about software and software applications, or are there certain things that you would that you consider when thinking about your learners in terms of the software that you're using? Sending them right to the web, Rita? Okay. There are many devices, absolutely. You can't make assumptions when it comes to technology. The dictionary apps. Okay. Right. Software bugs. Mm-hmm. Just Google email is simple. Right. So just to expand a little bit more on BYOD, bring your own device. Are people asking their learners to bring your own devices? Yeah, having guidelines for how to use their equipment or the apps, absolutely. Yes, yes. So kind of some diversity there in terms of bringing your own devices to school. I know sometimes it's a little problematic in terms of the systems that people have to connect, and security challenges as well, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Innovative, using your phones to record dialogues. Great integration there of the technology. BYOD only accessible in some certain areas of the school. Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily all connected. Yep, digital citizenship, absolutely. Okay, and speaking about integration, I think that sort of moves us on to the next question. I think that we're right on time with this. But when you're integrating technology into your classrooms, and be it in any type of delivery mode, in your experience, are there specific approaches that you use when integrating those technologies? And then when you're using those approaches, are they more effective for a different level of language learner? And some examples were about gamification, flipped, pan-synchronous, PBLA. So if you can sort of reflect on that in your experience.
Okay.
Okay. And Svetlana is just commenting still about the BYOD for literacy learners in their class. Yes, because they're the owner of that equipment, right? So they would know it. Yeah. Excellent.
Pan-synchronous.
Pan-synchronous. So pan-synchronous for online is something that has a start date and potentially an end date, but people can come on whenever they want. So you're, for instance, a massive open online course is pan-synchronous. They start at a certain time generally, and then you have a cohort that works through it with you. But then you have people that are on week 1, but you're on week 5. You have people that are on week 6, but you're only on week 2. So it's synchronous yet sort of over a period of time. Flipped is a good way to maximize class time, absolutely. Gamification requires a strong design side for best effect. Yes. Pan-synchronous is a lot of work for instructors. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, when there's ongoing enrollment or continuous intake. Yeah. Gamification might be a difficult concept for learners who have not grown up in a gaming world. Yeah, and there's different models of gamification. Definitely, yes, when we look at it from a technology perspective, sort of applying those game mechanics or game design to encourage or motivate people. I think often when we're thinking about games, we're thinking of some of those sort of big games, but then there's serious games when it comes to scenarios or situations, scenarios. Yeah. And NSAs have a challenge of generating revenues for many educational institutions. Maybe they should be funded by the government or be available for free. A mix of synchronous and asynchronous works for learners. Yeah, they need flexibility.
PBLA online, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, this next question has two parts, and Yves was mentioning it before in terms of a national learning management system. Recently, in the Canadian language settlement sector, we have we've been brought together with a national repository, and this national repository, of course, is tutela.ca, and this is for teachers. I think one of the questions that's on the mind of CIC is the next step something for learners or something for organizations to be able to use with their learners? Does a nationally coordinated open source learning management system that is scalable, customizable, and adaptable for all jurisdictions make sense to you as a platform to be used by settlement language training service providers across Canada? Yep, so Tutela is great. It's a great place to come together for community and for lessons. And does it make sense now to sort of take another step for SPOs? Learn IT to teach and Tutela rock? All right. Fund them both heavily. There it is. Same time, usually beginning in a face-to-face lesson with individuals and toward the end. Yes, thank you, Andrew, for sure. Some small towns in Manitoba are still on dial-up systems. That is, yeah, that would definitely be a barrier.
Tutela should be national. Tutela is national.
Yep, Tutela is national. One platform can have its difficulties. Yeah, do you want to expand on that, Manuela? And Hannah is saying, yes, please, one LMS will ensure portability of learning for clients. Yes. Yeah. So if you move to Manitoba and you're coming from somewhere else in the country, face-to-face. Oh, lots of sharing here. It's one platform with separate courses. Yeah, so some consideration in terms of how that gets done, absolutely. The resources on any national LMS must be national and not Ontario-centric. Right.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the UK's national curriculum is anything to go by, not sure that a single system works. Yep, so giving people choice again in terms of Tyson not having it be a requirement, but looking to sort of local or classroom needs of the learners. Yep, customizable. Yeah. Take care of any difficulties for each SPO. Yeah. Yeah, and that the functionality sort of across the system, how does that get done? Someone was just mentioning about Tutela.
To tell is quite slow.
Yeah, we'll be saving this chat so that we can come back to it and sort of follow the lines. But again, just the discussion can continue on to Tella, and please, if everyone can sort of create their account or go into that link to share these thoughts, because it's hard to capture in just 5 minutes per each question, but this is amazing. I was unsure about what we were going to get from the side chats, but this is wonderful.
This is wonderful, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, there's already a lot of tools and platforms, and it's keeping the choice. Yeah. For example, Blackboard, a learning object repository. Yeah, and then what happens if we go with one system and then things change? Will all be Yeah, and some agreement there with Tyson in terms of choice and being able to leverage what's already out.
SCORM is outdated. Not sure I understand this one.
Bonnie, can you expand a little bit about SCORM? And from what I know about SCORM, and people, correct me if I'm wrong, and I like to sort of always do this type of so SCORM is just the technical term for how your language learning content gets meshed with a learning management system. And then SCORM has limitations. Definitely SCORM has limitations in terms of the variables that it tracks, right? So if it tracks, names or activities, then how it matches up with the LMS. But you're right, different organizations may want to track different things. Okay. So, and it looks like a lot of people are using different things, and maybe this brings us to part two of the question. Are there learning management systems that you have experience with that you have positive or negative experiences with, and can you share those? So I think Tyson mentioned Blackboard, and we're talking right now even about SCORM and SCORM content meshing with the learning management system. Okay, so accessing the SCORM things are difficult, right? Okay, so some Moodle, Blackboard to 1990s. Yeah, because a lot of us are in different, like higher education uses that a lot. I think that's what we're using at UBC right now. Moodle's ugly. Yeah. Sharing it will take it across the nation and allow for regional customization. Yeah, there's a lot of affordances to having one place for people. Yeah. Wiki spaces. Right, and then training. Across, that's true. Some of the issues for literacy. Desire to learn, Canvas, Blackboard. Okay, prefer Moodle hands down. Okay, I'm just going to go to the, thanks, Desiree. I'm going to go to the last question then. Lessons learned. In your experience, are there any lessons regarding e-learning which you would like to share with us? So when it comes to e-learning, what are some of the successes or pitfalls and things that CIC needs to know and be made aware of when they're sort of considering some of the things that Yves was mentioning in his welcome? Okay. Up-to-date hardware, consider the skills of our students. when it comes to technology, absolutely. Simple design and interface, yeah. One LMS can provide answers and meet. I don't think one LMS, okay. Yep, requiring time for the teacher to learn. Training, yes. Ongoing just-in-time support for the learners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Teacher time needs to be paid. Yeah. Attitudes towards e-learning are very important. Yeah. Yep, about portfolio.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's right. Thinking about the tool and integrating it with sound pedagogy. Mm-hmm. So some students are ahead of us on the technology. So one of the earlier comments was about considering the learners' skills with technology, but then a lot of learners are exceeding the skills of their teachers. Is that what people are finding, or sort of a mix, bit of diversity there? New teachers need support for access and learning technology. That's true too. I mean, you have young teachers entering the field that aren't necessarily, you'd expect them to be proficient, but they might not be. We're all learning. Yeah, there's, discussion about Prensky's article. I think there's lots of different ways that learners and users of online learning are sort of referred to now. The most recent one that I've been hearing are about arrivals and departures for people that use online learning, and or residents and visitors. So yeah, there's different metaphors. Yeah. Sherry's mentioning the concepts of Prensky. Yeah. I mean, Prensky came out in what, 2000? So we've already had 15 years since then, and so much has changed. Yeah. Good methodology is still the key. Yeah. Aren't as familiar with technology. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm just multitasking here. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes left before our break. And I think this was an excellent discussion. Right now we have 140 users from across Canada. Catherine, it's been an excellent discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Kadi, how are you? Nice to see you. We're still in the age of innocence as far as tech, especially where free is concerned. Need to proceed with caution. Yes. So is everyone going to go into this link, into Tella, and continue the discussion? I think this has just started it, and it's given us a taste for the diversity that's happening across the country and really the expertise. I'm blown away with where everyone is at with their integration of technology and learning management systems, and it's really amazing. And if you're not there either in terms of what some of the terminology was that we use today, then it's a great place to start. And definitely the community that you see chatting here publicly are wonderful supports. And that's one thing that we really want Realize to be for people is a place for learning. So definitely want to be sure that no one feels intimidated by some of the language or where people are at, because we all start somewhere. Definitely 6 years ago, again, we were all at different places. And when we look to Vision 2020, where will we be in 2020? It's mind-boggling. Okay, great. So people are posting the link to the Tutela forum, and so definitely keep going there. Yeah. All right. Can you tweet the link? Yes. We've got a whole team here tweeting the link. And my homework for people that are not yet on Twitter is to, consider creating an account and joining us, because we've got a full day of sessions all day today and tomorrow, although we're starting a little bit later tomorrow and then ending a little earlier. And yes, please share your Twitter ID codes here, and we can tweet those out and be sure that we're following. Thank you.
Well, thanks to everybody.
Yes. All right.
So this is fantastic, Brian. So I think if you have, all of you concerned regarding the future directions on e-learning strategy, please feel free to post them to the Tutela group discussion. I know that you understand the magnitude of the work that continue to lie, but it's encouraging to see that many of you are participating today to this discussion. This is invaluable for us. So this event, Realize 15, is a good opportunity for development and a chance for you to connect with other professionals in the sector. So I'm quite excited to be involved today, and my team will be looking forward to participating to other sessions today and tomorrow. So thank you very much, and I wish that the forum will be interesting and informative for all of you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a 15-minute break before joining up with our keynote speaker, and we're going to be streaming the keynote address through Google Hangouts, and there were instructions in the email that we sent out and also on our website for how to join that. So we will see you there. If you've got questions for our keynote, please be sure to tweet them to us and or use the Google Plus chat box down below. All right, great. Thank you, everyone. So when you're logging out, please be sure to use the little exit button out on the top right-hand side.
Thank you
very much, Yves.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.